Hey, welcome everyone. This is Andre Harris and Friends Show SaySo Radio. This your boy Curtis Gaskins. I'm up in here. Hey, and this is the show to help the youth one at a time every day. We have a special guest today. We got Tucson Gaskins in the building. Young man that I've been knowing for a while. We have what you would call an investment advisor. This brother right here is well renowned. He goes around and he helps people with their finances. And we thought that it would be a great opportunity to help young people with investing. You're never too young or too old to start investing. And we have to get in a place where we are investing on things that are good besides being consumers. So, got Tucson here this morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Man, it's an honor and a privilege to have you here. For a lot of people that don't know Tucson Gaskins, he is a not only an investment advisor. He goes and he speaks in places. He also is an author. I bought his book. His book right here is the financial.
Well, the personal finance.
The
kit.
personal.
There it is.
Financial kit. This book is in all type of institutions, teaching young people, old people, how to manage their finances. This is what he do for a living. This is what he love to do. Tell the people a little bit more about what you do and how you help youth to structure their finances.
Well, no. First of all, good morning, and I appreciate the opportunity to kind of share the, the blessing, that I have of having a passion for financial literacy, not just for, the general population, but also for young folks specifically, to learn how to live a different lifestyle, to move out of being a consumer and to have the mindset of being an owner of something. So, I've been in the financial services and specifically investment management industry since 1992.
Wow, that is a long time vested.
Yeah,
and I'm more than sure you have touched many lives between 92 and now.
The hundreds. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hundreds at
so,
least.
So let me ask you a question. For youth that are unfamiliar with investing, and maybe their parents haven't given them some type of structure,
right?
What would you suggest for youth to, if they say one of my sons wanted to invest, what would be something that's manageable for him to invest, and do you provide the tools necessary to get him in that place?
Right. No, that's a good question. Typically, in this time of year, going into the holiday season, is when I tend to receive a lot of questions about investing for children, whether it's college planning or changing the scope of Christmas and holiday celebration in terms of just giving, Nike shoes or, an Xbox or a PlayStation. Let's look at creating stock ownership and own a share of Nike.
Right.
Let's own a share of Microsoft. Let's own a share of Sony. And typically you'll find that the share of the company, to own a piece of the company is less than owning the product itself that they produce.
Wow. So you're saying I've seen a pair of Michael Jordans that are $300.
Correct.
And you're saying Nike stock
yes
is much less
yes
than a pair of Jordans.
Yes.
And it will grow.
Yeah,
absolutely. It will mature.
Yes.
Wow.
That's why they have different, series of Michael Jordan shoes. That the brand Air Jordan, comes out with a different series because you have, folks that have 3 or 4 or 5 different versions of the Air Jordan. They just don't get one.
Okay.
So it's a brand, but yeah, you can either own it in, own an individual stock. It can be done through, mutual funds or exchange traded funds, index funds. There are different vehicles, to go about making an investment, but just start with understanding, what an investment is, how to read it in the newspaper, and not being intimidated by just the language of making money.
Okay. So how much could someone take to start investing?
That's fair. There's some mutual funds that don't necessarily have a minimum amount.
Okay.
Then you have others that have, $500 to $1,000, initial investment. But honestly, you can go directly to the company. There's certain corporations that have what's called dividend reinvestment programs, or DRIPs, where you can just send, $20 a month from your allowance, and try to make an investment in Disney, so to speak. That's just an example. So I'm not saying invest in Disney, but I'm just giving a hypothetical. That there are companies there that would allow you to invest directly through the corporation.
$20 a month.
You can $20 a month for if you would have started $20 a month when you're 5 years old, 10 years old, you start doing some responsibilities. Mm-hmm. You're talking about $240 a year. You're looking at a couple thousand over a 10-year period.
Right. Then
you have compounded interest. Like, there's so many ways to make money as an investor that we just need to explore it and just try.
So I'm gonna break it down to layman terms.
Yeah.
We're in the DMV.
Yep.
DMV, the young people are aware of eating like chicken and mambo sauce, right?
Yep.
6 wings, chicken and mambo sauce, about $8.
Yep.
So you're saying if they cut back on
just 1 week.
1 a week.
1 week.
Which is, let's say, roughly that's about what?
$32.
$32.
Did that in my head real quick.
A month.
Yep.
They can invest that into something.
Yes.
And it will mature.
Yeah, it will grow.
It will grow.
It will grow.
Slow growth.
Yes.
Okay. And as opposed to buying those Jordans for $300, you could take that same money and invest it.
Yes.
And in some cases, depend on what you're investing in.
Correct.
It can triple, quadruple. It just depends on how the market is doing.
Over time.
Over time.
For example, last week, Apple.
Okay.
Apple, their stock went up over 10% in a day.
Wow.
So you're looking at, you give me $100 and I give you $110 the same day.
Wow.
You've done nothing to work for it. You haven't done anything special. You don't run the company.
Right.
You let the management of the company work for you and reward you.
Right.
By making more money when the stock goes up.
Wow.
That's what investing is.
Okay. So what knowledge do you have, or where can some of the young people go that want to invest,
right,
and have no understanding of how to invest? Where can they go? Is there a website and teaching them?
Yeah. I mean, there are. I would say the first conversation I have is to have with an adult. Have a conversation with your parents, and let's start talking about money at the dinner table.
Okay.
With those, that's a habit that we need to establish, so that we're not intimidated when we talk about money. That's the quiet conversation to be had when children aren't in the room. Let's talk about finances,
right?
And what they give you the ability to do. You can also do research on different companies on essentially, Yahoo Finance. Gives you a portal, to put in different company names and see if they're publicly traded. But also you can contact your local investment advisory firm, and they typically, whether it's, Merrill Lynch or Wells Fargo now, they have someone there that will give you some information about the stock market.
Okay.
Or they can send you an email and we'll forward information to them, after the show. But I mean, there are a lot of resources available. Just take your time as you get into it.
Wow. Okay, so we know $20 a month.
Yeah.
And we know now, instead of getting those Jordans, maybe cut it in half and get some KDs.
Basically.
You know what I'm saying? Basically. Get some KDs and take that other 150 and invest it in Nike or the Jordan brand or whatever brand, and you can prosper that way. Let me ask you a question. what are good stocks for young people? Is it good for them to invest in something that they're interested in?
Yes. Good question. The first place to go is to just look around the house and see what you normally do.
Okay.
What food do you like to eat? Do you like Chipotle?
Right.
When you go in there, is it crowded?
Right.
If it is, that means they're generating revenues. You're spending money, they're probably making money.
Right.
So you can research to see if they're publicly traded, which they are. What kind of shoes do you wear? Do you wear Nikes? You wear Reeboks? What do you wear? Where did you go to buy the shoes? Did you go to Dick's? Did you go to Athlete's Foot? Where did you go? Do you play a video game? What kind of games do you play? Xbox. Do you like PlayStation? Where'd you get the video game system from? Was it Walmart, Best Buy?
Walmart, GameStop.
All GameStop. All those companies are, publicly traded. They make money off of people like us spending money for their product.
Okay. So basically you're saying for young people, they need to be cognitive of the places that they go.
Yep.
Are they crowded? They need to gauge their audience and say, is this place crowded every time I come in here?
Yes.
Are they producing
Yes.
on a high level? These are questions that they need to get engaged with so that when they go to invest, they pretty much know that this is the place.
Yeah. Do they have good customer service?
Right.
Is it clean?
Right.
Do you like your grocery store? We all eat.
Right.
Where you get your food from, you go to Safeway or Giant.
Right.
Or if you're in the South, you may go to Kroger.
Okay.
So yeah, things like that. Just basic things that we do on an everyday basis. Where do we get our gas from?
Right.
That's what drives the stock market and the global economy.
Right. I mean, like I know now we are transitioning to a whole different millennial people.
Yep.
And when I say that, when I was coming up, you were coming up, we had Sears and we had Montgomery Ward's,
right.
and we had some other
JCPenney.
stores. But now, if you notice, those stores are being closed.
Yep.
And everybody is on Amazon.
That's correct.
So I guess in the last 4 or 5 years, Amazon stock has grew tremendously because of the push and play that we can go on our phone, order what we want, and it will be, especially if you're Amazon Prime, it'll be at your house in 2 days.
Oh, it's addictive.
Yeah, it's
addictive.
convenient.
Yes.
It's convenient.
Yes.
So, but we know that there are people in the background that are buying stock into Amazon.
That's correct.
That's pushing every product that comes from Amazon, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And Amazon's publicly traded too.
Okay.
The Googles, the Facebooks, how you're looking at us right now.
Right.
All these things are Netflix. That they're publicly traded companies.
Okay.
You can make money off of them.
You can make money off of them, and we can transition. I think the most important thing you said at the beginning is transitioning of the mind of not being the consumer but the investor.
Yes.
And
be an owner.
And be an owner of something, and have some certificates saying, "Oh, I have 100 shares of stock in Amazon."
Even if you own one share of stock, you're able to go to a shareholder meeting and voice your opinion.
Wow.
Just one.
Wow. And that is something that they put out there, that the shareholding meetings they're having, you're welcome to come to.
Yes. Yeah. If you have a stock, in your name, it's called having it. When you have it at a firm, it's called in street name. But when you have it in your own name or your parents' name, you'll get an invitation to attend, your annual shareholders meeting.
Wow.
Wow.
And what's funny is, it's funny you're saying that. I went to Six Flags one day, and it was like an influx of people there.
Yep.
And so I asked the guy, I was like, well, what special day is it? And he said it was a shareholders day. And so everyone that has stock in Six Flags, they were there. And what I noticed were most of those people that had stock had those little hats on the head. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I asked her, bro, I'm like, hey man, what's going on? Because I was
But you
like,
wanted a hat?
Huh?
You wanted a hat or something?
No,
No.
I didn't want the hat. I just wanted to know why so many people with the little hats was there. And he answered it, and I said, okay, I understand that.
Right.
But Six Flags,
Yep.
you can put stock in Six Flags. So if you like to go, don't just hold a season pass,
Right.
but hold some stock in Six Flags. Man, this is a very interesting conversation. You listen to SaySo Radio. This your boy Curtis Gaskins. I'm sitting in for Miss Andre Harris, my buddy. And we have Tucson Gaskins here today, and he is talking about investments for young people. And y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back. I promise you, you learn something. Give us a few minutes. We'll be right back at you.
DC's #1 recording studio. Listen vision, listen vision, listen vision. 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 Listen vision, listen vision, listen vision, listen vision. 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 Listen vision, listen vision, listen vision, listen vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Listen vision, listen vision, listen vision, listen vision.
Yeah, we're back here on SaySo Radio. This is Curtis Gaskins sitting in for Andre Harris and friends. Andre, we miss you. You know you call me, and I'll be here. You know how we do it. Look here, we're here with an investment advisor, Tucson Gaskins. Has a wealth of knowledge, been doing this since '92. How did you start?
I tell you, my interest was in really in politics.
Right.
You know, and I wanted to go to law school, but I was introduced while at I'm a graduate of Morehouse College from Washington D.C. and I was introduced to the Wall Street Journal through a professor.
Oh wow.
At Morehouse in a class we were taking. Guy's name is Dr. Benjamin. Well, he wasn't a doctor. Professor Benjamin McLaurin. And when I began to read the Wall Street Journal, you can actually understand the influence of money throughout the world.
Right.
And I was hooked.
Right.
You know, I was hooked. And that was during the era, you know, the late 80s when, you know, when people in from my neighborhood were doing different things to make money.
Right.
You know, they weren't always the right thing, but they were doing them.
They were illegal
You know,
entrepreneurs.
They were absolutely were entrepreneurs. And they had the same mindset and get up and go and hustle as every Fortune 500 CEO.
Right.
You know, just focused on the wrong thing, so to speak.
Right.
But if we could kind of turn the mindset around and focus that energy on something positive,
Right.
you know, they can be CEOs of these larger and mid-sized corporations. So that's how I got started.
Right.
It was during the class.
Okay. So the professor challenged you.
Man, the professor broke down every section of the Wall Street Journal, you know, from the left side. We read from left to right. Each column in the paper means something on a specific day during the week.
Right.
And only if you really understand the Wall Street Journal template will you know what they're saying per given day and why they say it.
Wow.
You know, so it was really just getting to the inside of what people who make financial decisions globally, what they use as their data
Right.
to make their decisions.
Right.
You know, and I was hooked.
Yeah, and I think in every reason you should be hooked because you're talking about economics is power.
Yep.
Every business, I don't care what business it is, if you don't have any revenue coming in, it's not really a business.
No.
You know, you have to have some revenue coming in. It doesn't have to be abundant revenue.
Correct.
But if you have something coming in and something managed, then you know, the economics just control everything.
That's
So often we get hooked in conversations that we say, well, somebody pulled a race card or this or that, but really it comes down to economics.
Correct.
Who has more, who has less, the
That's
haves and the have not.
That's correct.
And that's what people have to understand. It's not always a racial statement. It's an economic statement. And what's funny is I was hanging out. I get the opportunity to hang out with millionaires, and they say, you know how you look at me, and I'm like, yeah. They say we look at the guys that are 100 millionaires or billionaires. We look at them the same way you look at me.
Right.
And you know, they look at us totally different. Yeah, we millionaires, but they have hundreds
Right.
of millions.
Right.
And so whether they inherit it or they work for it, it's totally different scales.
That's
you
right.
know. But the most beautiful thing is that at the end of the day, the numbers never lie.
That's right. That's right.
The hard numbers never lie. I mean, either you have it or you don't.
That's right.
You
I
know.
mean, but you also have to add value in whatever product or service, you know, you bring into the table.
Right.
To be able to generate $1 million, because it's not as if, you know, there's $1 million tree somewhere that's in your yard.
Right.
Waiting for you to pick it.
Exactly.
You know, you got to go get it. You know,
Exactly.
Which means someone else already has it.
Right.
And you have to offer compelling value proposition, something of value to do it. That's what publicly traded companies kind of give you the ability to do, is that you let these smart, well-positioned, experienced owners with very strong products
Right.
make money for you.
Right.
Period.
So you got to have a good team.
You better have a good team. And if you don't have it, you better invest in someone who does.
You have to have a good team. So how do we help the young people who parents have no financial background or maybe not willing to learn, how do we help reach those youth that, was brought up where they more consumers than anything?
Right.
How do we do that?
I mean, the truth of the matter is, that's what happened in my household.
Okay.
We didn't talk about, money and finance. That was more the hush conversation you
Right.
have when children aren't in the room.
Right.
Late at night when they're asleep or something.
Right.
You talk about money,
Right.
but the money conversation was from the perspective of paying bills.
Right.
What we have and what we don't have.
Right.
Versus how we're going to grow what we have.
Right.
We're trying to maintain it.
Right.
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 So it took me to 20 years.
Wow.
To get to the point where I'm even reading a periodical. So it kind of starts with having this information in our communities.
Okay.
I never saw it before.
Okay.
If I saw it, I'd have read it.
Right.
Because I
Right.
read. I knew how to read.
Right. Right. Right.
So it was just never there. So if we can just start by reading more.
Right.
Not playing video games more.
Right. Exactly.
But kind of unplug from the matrix there and actually read and be a consumer of information instead of wasting time.
Right. And I mean, everything you're saying, I'm listening to everything you're saying, and that's what I tell my boys and my girls. I'm like,
Right.
You cannot get time back.
Right.
However, you're young enough now, if you can create some type of, like DJ Ultron, I say, look, create where you're doing little shows and take your money and invest your money.
Yes.
And by the time you're my age, you will be well vested. You will be well secured, well insulated, and you won't have to worry about some of the things that I'm trying to put in place for you. But if you start now,
Yes.
if you start right now, it's like, hey, so much can happen just from little things. And then I think that the most important thing is what you were saying, like $20 a week. If the youth, say, put $80 a month, or let's say $50 a month,
Right.
and they get an opportunity to see their money grow,
Yes.
that's when the curiosity, like, hey, wait a minute,
There you go.
I'm on to something.
Yep.
I put $50 in this month, and I put $50 in last month, which made $100. But now I have $120.
Right.
This money is growing,
Right.
and then you can start breaking
And
out.
you
the
didn't do
calcul-
anything special for it to grow.
Exactly. You just put it in
You
place.
put it in place and let them work for you instead of you working for it.
Yeah, and I think that's what we really need to teach them. Try to get the information in the neighborhood,
Right.
but teach them how they can place their money somewhere. And let me tell y'all, and me and you had this conversation. I had probably about $1,700 between my children in a bank account.
Right.
And they sent me the statement, and on the statement it said that and everybody had their own account. On the statement, I think all of my children made maybe 2 cents.
Yeah, it's like $1,702.
Yeah, it was something that, so banks, let's say this for the young people. Banks don't use your money for your benefit.
Correct.
They use it for their benefit. They use it to take care of other people. And probably what's one of the most disheartening thing is to put your money in a bank and go to that same bank and try to get a loan, and they don't give it to
And
you.
get denied. Right.
But someone else across town puts in for a loan, and they get money from the bank. So we had to transition our minds to put our money in places where it will grow. And with some of these accounts, you can draw some of that money if you need it, right?
Yeah, if you need it. But I mean, we're talking about children. So once we actually get started as, an investor, right? Your parents and, other family members will see that you're engaged in it. Even if they didn't understand it,
Right.
they know it's something that they should try to, support and understand themselves.
Right.
So you'll start getting it as a birthday gift now.
Right.
You won't be able to just waste money on things. I mean, you can actually, when you look at building a stock portfolio for for a child or for any new investor, right? Just walk through your house, go in the kitchen, open the cabinets.
Right.
What do you eat?
Right.
You know, what's your favorite cereal?
Oh yeah.
You
I know my children. I should have put some stock in ketchup because they go through it.
There you go. That's Heinz. You
I
know?
mean, they go through it.
That's Heinz.
You know.
Frosted Flakes, you can get Kellogg's.
Yeah.
You know, all these things. Macaroni and cheese, you got Kraft.
Right.
You know, things of that nature. You know, Dole, you got orange juice.
Exactly.
You know, all these types of companies, you know, they're just around you every day that we use their products every day. They make money in every way. You know, so that's what they do.
And it's stocks and the stockholders that keep these companies running.
Yes.
They keep the companies running. Look, we're gonna take a short break because we got to bring our girl Imani in for her moment. Because
What's up, Imani?
Imani is the bomb.
I love her. She all right.
She's a senior. I mean, she is doing many things. She's an author. She's an author in this book right here. Right about now. You can go out and get this book by Andre Harris. She has a segment in here, and I mean, she is a bright young lady. I asked her what was her long-term and short-term goal. Imani said she was going to have a mansion in about 10, 15 years, and she said she was going to have a couple cars, and I believe her because she spoke it into existence.
There you go.
But look here, you're listening to SaySo Radio. I'm sitting there for Andre Harris. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have Imani for Imani's moment.
Listen, vision, listen, vision, listen, vision. Listen, vision, listen, vision, listen, vision, vision. Listen, vision, listen, vision, listen, vision, vision. Listen, vision, listen, vision, listen, vision, 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 vision, vision. DC's #1 recording studio.
Hey guys, welcome back to SaySo Radio, and this is Imani with Imani's Moments. So the moment we're going to be talking about is basically finishing out a brightful life, and so the quote is, "We cannot hold a torch to light another's path without brightening our own." So you always have to finish whatever you start. Don't start something without finishing it. Back to you guys.
Wow. I like that, Imani.
Yeah, Imani.
I like that. Don't start something if you can't finish it, right?
Yep.
That's what's up. I mean, man, you almost there.
I am.
You-
I
you
take
know,
my senior
I think
pictures
my dad said the most important thing is that you finish high school, because then you have completed something,
Right.
you know? And I mean, I think you're on it, Imani, and I'm just happy that I want to see you, in May. I want to see that
June.
June. But now I want to see you May, so you be amped up like, Mr. Curtis, I'm ready to get this over with.
Walk across the stage.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just so happy for you, and it's good to see young people accomplish things. It gets no better than that.
Exactly.
We're back here with Tucson Gaskins, investment advisor, has a wealth of knowledge in reference to Wall Street, Wall Street Journal, how to break down the investments. Now, we were talking a few minutes ago, and we were talking about getting that calculator, financial calculator.
Yeah.
And explain that to the people.
Well, I mean, what we were speaking of is you can easily go on to any search engine, Yahoo, Google, and put in the terms, financial calculator, investment calculator, savings calculator, those kind of keywords, and you'll come to an area where you can input in a beginning investment amount, say $50, $100. They'll say how many investments you want to make, or for how long. You can say for 10 years. What rate of return. I would recommend somewhere around the 8 to 10%, because that's typically what historically the Dow Jones Industrial Average has done over time since the 1920s. We're around the 8 to 10% rate of return, and press enter.
Okay.
And it'll give you an idea of what you'll have at the end of a 10-year period if you keep making these, $50 a month investments, and you'll see that you'll grow somewhere around, 8-10 years. You may end up with, in excess of, $20,000, $30,000. Where you've been putting in just $50 a month,
Wow.
$600 a year.
Wow. And that takes a lot of discipline.
That takes discipline.
It takes discipline.
Yeah.
And like we say, renewing of the minds, because when something is growing, it's just like a tree.
Right.
When a tree is growing, you don't go and just start cutting on it.
That's right.
You got to let it grow some and mature some. And it's a such thing as pruning, but don't go cut it down.
Right.
When it's growing.
Right.
So, and it's just like your finances. And I think what's even harder now, that a lot of transactions are done electronically,
Right.
and we don't really calculate in our head
Yep.
what we're spending.
Correct.
And I think that, where before, I know when I was coming up, I get my check. I go. This is before I had a bank account. I go to the liquor store.
Yeah, cash your check. Right.
Cash my check.
Right.
Get them a little bit of money.
Right.
But I would take out what I need for the week.
Right.
Of all my expenses for the week, I take it and pull it to the side and say, okay, I'm gonna need $50 for gas. I'm gonna need this for the week, and I set this out, and the rest I'll put away.
Right.
But with the electronic transactions, we're consumers and really don't realize how much we're spending.
We're not keeping track.
We're not keeping track. So you really have to be disciplined. It may be a good idea to create some type of spreadsheet on all the expenses.
That's correct. That's right. And we have the ability to give you, through you, some of the tools that any person can use.
Okay.
to be able to monitor what you're doing financially.
Right.
Which is really what we're talking about doing. You made a reference about trees and pruning trees. There's a quote that says, "Even the grass must struggle through the ground to grow." Like every blade of grass
Right.
that you see has
Right.
started off as a singular seed,
Right.
and has to fight through the dirt and the worms and the ants and the
Right.
bugs and
Exa-
everything you see.
exactly,
So
exactly.
it's no different than what we got to grow and kind of prune our mind and
Exactly.
just think differently.
And think different. And I thought it was important that we brought you in before the beginning of the year, because often people make New Year's resolutions
Right.
where they should be making more so mindset changes on what they're going to do for the next year.
Correct.
And so 2018, I think some people may want to consider taking the conservative approach on some of the things that they like
Right.
to do. And some people don't have the discernment, I guess, to differentiate between what they want and what they need.
Correct. Correct.
So
That's important.
yeah, if you can, make an understanding on what you want, then at that point you can start saying, okay, I'm gonna take this $50. I don't care what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't care what happens.
Right.
It's $50, and I'm just gonna have to cut back on something.
That's right.
Because I know every time I go to IHOP, I spend 50, 60 easy, and we're talking about pancakes.
Yeah, that's easy.
We're talking about pancakes, waffles, chicken.
Right.
We talking about some eggs. But we're not talking about $50 or $60 worth, really. I mean, if you went to the grocery store and did
box
it,
of pancake mix.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
So maybe you need to cut that IHOP out.
I say let's just try it.
Right.
Even if we just give ourselves, 30, 60, 90 days of trying to live a lifestyle where we don't consume everything every day that we
Right.
historically have done.
Right.
Just eliminate something. Eliminate a cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Something.
see what you get. Yeah.
So we say 90-day trial.
Not 90-day trial. If you were to get if you can see what you spend a month, first you got to see it.
Right.
So you got to get your bank account, look at your statement,
Right.
and see where your money's going. The best thing to use is your debit card to track yourself for 30 days.
Right.
Just to see where you spending all your money.
Right.
And then you could look at how to eliminate stuff. Because that's what people say, I don't have nothing to start with.
Right.
I don't know where the money going to come from.
Right.
If I can see your bank statement, I can tell you where you wasting something.
And see, that's good information. So the month of December, I think if you're really serious about investing, look at your spending minus your Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
Like this year, I don't plan on, I tell my children all the time, Christmas is every day. Every day that you have breath in your lungs and you can get up and you move around, it's Christmas.
Right.
But this Christmas may be the Christmas that, okay, you may get this or you may get that, but you're definitely, okay, here's the seed. We're
Right.
starting the new year. Here's the seed. Here's $500 is going to your account, 800 or 1,000 or whatever,
Right.
going to everybody's account, and you're going to monitor it for the new year.
That's correct.
That's your job.
Right.
Don't tell me what's the new game. I don't want to hear the new song.
Right.
I want to see you tracking your funds.
That's correct.
And so I think this is a good time, December, and it's gonna be cold. So where we live at, it's not. I mean, it's some things to do, but not outside. So you got 15, 20 minutes. How long do it take to check?
Man, it take you 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
To check to see how you growing.
To see how you going. That's right. 5 minutes.
5 minutes out of 24 hours.
Right. That's right.
I mean, one day.
One day.
So I mean, you really can't really beat that, and you're investing in yourself.
Correct.
So you can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong. Before we get out of here, I definitely I want to get some information, how people can contact you. But tell us anything that you want to tell us to help investors.
Right.
If they need help, or I mean, whatever you want to tell us.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, I think when you brought up New Year's resolutions, we can resolve, i.e. just state and believe strongly that we're going to do something. We can resolve to do it. But let's resolve to plan and actually take the necessary steps to be disciplined to have a better life. Not just for ourselves, but for our children, our children's children, and for our family that we may never live to see. I mean, that's what you have wealthy families do. They create trust. Rockefellers, Kennedys, wealthy families, they set the tone for what their great-great-grandchildren are doing right now.
Right.
We have the same tools in our community to use them for ourselves. You don't need to beg anyone else to do it.
Right.
We can educate ourselves.
Right.
And if we can spend 3 to 4 hours a day on playing Call of Duty or some other video game,
right,
you can take that, at least half of that time, to invest in expanding your own mind and feeding yourself good food that'll help you and your family to grow financially.
And that is so important that we are able to plant a seed. We're able to create a legacy, and I think that's important.
Yes.
To not, there are things that we need to do to help the next generation, help educate our community, because finances are so important, and we let so many dollars leave our neighborhoods, and then we wonder why, and it's because we weren't really good stewards of the money.
There you go. Our money circulates in our community less than one time.
Wow.
As soon as we get it, we spend it, and once we spend it, we go in debt to buy some more things that we really don't need.
Wow. And I mean, that is so profound.
And it's true. And I'll give my email address is Toussaint, TOUSSAINT at ToussaintGaskins.com, and that's TOUSSAINTGASKINS.com. So email me directly, and I'll be more than happy to answer any of the personal finance related questions.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Imani, did you have any questions?
No, I think I can invest my money in like Uber or Lyft or something, because I get money and that's where it all goes. So
but that is a great point. That is a great point. You know what you use, and you know that other people are using it, and you know that it is growing at leaps and bounds. So I mean, I think you on it. I think you tapped into it. You found out
philosophy. Yeah.
You found out your need.
Right.
Yep.
And it's many other people need.
Right.
Oh, wow. Man, this has been a great show. We got to get out of here. Don't forget, y'all, get the book, The Personal Finance Kit, Toussaint Gaskins.
Email me. I'll get it to you.
And, I mean, change your mindset.
Yeah, please.
You're listening to SaySo Radio. This your boy Curtis Gaskins in here for Andre Harris. This is the show where Andre, she loves to say, this is her niche line, and I mean, she loves to say it. So I guess I got to say it since I'm here. Otherwise, I'll probably be in trouble. Yeah. And also, all of the financial information we was giving out, this is just information. That don't mean go out here and take your little money and put some money in E-Trade or Charles Schwab and say, oh, man, he don't know what he talking about. You need to seek professional assistance if you don't know what you're doing. So, I mean, but this is something just to prick your heart and your mind to get you in that mode of finances. Listen to SaySo Radio, and like always, Lord have mercy.
You need your glasses.
Yeah, I need my glasses. Yeah. Until next time, keep living, keep loving, but most of all, you just keep watching. We be here next week. See you.
See you.